Welcome to the mid-June tour of my allotment garden. I've just come back from a 3-week holiday in Spain and Portugal, so this is actually the first time I've seen it since coming back from holiday. Let's have a look around. So this is the wildlife corner, and it is very overgrown. If you can see, there's lots of weeds. Things are growing. This is some valerian here, and this part of the valerian is filled with aphids, unfortunately. But if you can see there, you'll see a ladybug and another one there. So nature finds a way. I've got plenty of ladybugs actually. There's one here on the comfrey, and yeah, so I won't get into the wildlife garden, but it is wild. I've got some California poppies here, looking very nice, and my roses, those are really nice too. I got that as a gift a few years ago, and it's doing not bad considering I have no idea how to grow roses. But that is a wildlife garden. These 4 beds could probably be better. So I got all these plants were gifted by a neighbor. These are eggplants. If you can hear that buzzing, there's a bee right next to me. These are eggplants, and these are a mix of like chili peppers and just normal sweet peppers. And they're not doing that great. I need to do a bit of weeding. There's a lot to do considering I was gone for 3 weeks, but it's fine. Here there is, I believe I put some zucchini or Pattersons in here, and they are dotted with some volunteer calendula. I think these are sunflowers, and I think this is a zucchini. And those are Chinese forget-me-nots. This bed is a fail. I remember I put about 30 plants. So here's one label. So there's like one Rudbeckia cappuccino. The Rudbeckia is still there, and that's another Rudbeckia, but the other flowers that I planted in here, I cannot see them, so I guess they did not make it while I was on holiday, which is fine. And same for the other bed as well. I've got some potatoes in this bed, but it is covered in weeds, unfortunately, which I need to get under control. And under these 4 beds, these four beds, there's 3 of them that are covered. I put a lot of brassicas and stuff in there, and it seems a bunch have bolted. You can see the flowers there, you can see the flowers there. I won't uncover them to show you right now, but maybe later, because it might be a bit, I might have to just take them out completely, the ones that have been bolted. And these were broccoletti. Those have bolted, as you can see, but we have a nice chard over there. I think it's a rainbow chard, and that looks okay to eat, but that is a lot of work to do, to fix, which is fine. The plum tree is heavy. Usually we can walk underneath it, but now I have to go underneath it to get through. And there's a lot of plums. You can see there. Yeah, there. There's plenty. There's a lot of green plums. I might try and make a plum wine. I know there's a Japanese plum wine that uses green plums. It's not the same plum, but I'll try it anyway. I think there's plenty of plums to try this with, so let's experiment. Before I went on a holiday, I planted some pumpkins. Just put some cardboard down and made some holes, and they don't seem to be doing that great. Seems like there was some kind of animal burrowing this part, but the pumpkin is still alive, thankfully. Maybe add some compost to the holes, and probably needs a deep water as well. Last month, my boyfriend helped me attach a solar watering system for the greenhouse. It's worked pretty well so far, because this is what our tomatoes in the greenhouse look like. They're all taller than me now, mostly, and they're all green and lush, and there's plenty of tomatoes to be seen. So you have these over here, a little one over here, plenty of flowers. I will need to shake them because I'm not basically I am the bee right now, so we have to shake the plants. The system is quite simple to set up and use, and it seems to be working because I've tried growing tomatoes in this greenhouse a couple of years, and the watering is always the biggest issue, especially when we go on holiday. But it seems to be doing well. And I've got tomatoes, so I'm happy about that. That should hopefully be ready by August. I know they will take a bit longer in here, but I'm really happy with how the tomatoes are doing. I will just need to do a bit of pruning. As you can see, there's a lot of suckers that need to be taken off. I know some people don't take the suckers off because technically you get more tomatoes if you leave them on, but the growing season in the Netherlands is quite short, so I just want to keep it simple and keep it quick. The broad beans are definitely ready to harvest. Usually we like to harvest them a bit younger than this, but I was on holiday. My boyfriend is not very confident gardener, so he didn't know if these were ready. They were ready, but it's okay, I can take them now. So I can clear this bed up, which should be nice because it looks very untidy, if you can see that. I've got some brassicas under this hoop. If you can see, a few have bolted. I don't know if you can see, but there's a shadow of a few plants that have bolted. It was a mix of brassicas and salad, so I'm pretty sure the salad probably got too hot and have bolted. But there's a lot of bolting going around next to that bed. There's lots of spent poppies. I love poppy heads. They're so ornamental. Might dry a few, but I will need to clear this up because it looks quite unruly. And next to the poppies is my apple tree, which is doing really well. I've got a few apples. I don't know the variety. The previous owner planted this apple tree. We ended up moving the apple tree from one spot of the garden to the next. But this one doesn't look that healthy. This looks kind of brown and gross, so I might just take that one off. And this one looks like something has buried inside it, unfortunately, so I will be taking that one off too. I don't mind not having too many apples from the apple tree because I think I got around like 13 last year, and even that was a bit too much to harvest all at one point, so I'm happy with what we have right now. The grapevine is doing pretty well. I will need to do summer pruning of the offshoots from the main trunk because I want to keep that quite tidy like I did last year. And on the pergola we've tried tying it up to create shade, and it has kind of worked. We do have some patches like you can see, but that's easily enough to fix with tying up some vines. But there are plenty of future grapes. We did not have a great harvest last year. We didn't get any. We got a fungus on the leaves, so last year, and so none of the grapes really developed, and it looks quite sickly. But this year it looks pretty nice. This summer is very dry, not very wet, so it's ideal conditions apparently. In this covered bed I have pumpkins. There's one there, and there's one there. So in between them I put ceramic wine coolers. So I basically use them as oyas. I put them in the ground, put water in them, and then the water slowly leaches out. I'm pretty sure I have to top up the wine cooler oyas. Every time I go to a thrift shop, which is called a kringloop in the Netherlands, I'm on the lookout for ceramic wine coolers, because they are basically, you can use them basically like an oya, a water oya. And those are quite expensive if you get them as an oya. These are some echinaceas that are finally blooming. These are left over from the previous owner from a few years ago. I've got some flowers here. I think this is Coreopsis. And there's a feverfew there. And this is also a feverfew here. This hole is definitely a vole. We get them occasionally. Last year I didn't have any issues with voles. The year before I had so many issues with voles, but back this year I don't mind, it's fine. That is an eggplant. Those are eggplants. And this is a volunteer delphinium. I love delphiniums, they're so cute. They're so vibrant, so vibrantly purpley blue, almost iridescent. I don't know if it's focusing, but I really like delphiniums. And that is a ladybug with barely any spots. I don't know if that can focus, but it looks like a ladybug. And that here is a ladybug that's kind of hatching, I suppose, from the larval stage to the beetle stage. Okay, and then we have here some more potatoes. So these are two rows, two different varieties. And at the end of it we have some volunteer calendula, which really needs some deadheading because there's so many dead heads. And these are clary sage. It's so nice. I planted these last year, and they are biennial. They are a biennial plant, so they bloom every second year, I believe, like a bit like a foxglove. These are quite big. I didn't realize these were huge clary sage, because they start off really like the buds are quite small and then they spike out quite large. The bees are really enjoying this. It's a huge plant. I actually tried to take it out last year, but the plant was so stuck in the ground, it was quite hard, so I just left it. And even though I hacked at it, basically at ground level, it's done very well this year, which is really nice. This is my strawberry bed under a cage. It's caged so the birds don't come eat them. It's done pretty well this year. We've harvested quite a few, but it seems some kind of animal tried to take it here. It is near the end of the season. We are getting a lot less, so that's fine. And in the next bed there's some sunflowers here and some more brassicas. I didn't net these because I ran out of nets, so you can kind of see where the pigeons have tried to get some snacks. This has bolted, but there's a hoverfly here, so it's enjoying that. And we have more vole holes. Next to it we have the only outdoor tomatoes I have at the garden. We do have some tomatoes here, but I really do need to prune this a bit because it looks a bit unruly. Most of these are cherry variety, but I do have a Queen of the Night which turns quite black if it's exposed to sunlight. Right there. So they are very dark purple tomatoes, and they're not too bad tasting either. Next to it is a sage that has finished blooming, but I really need to fix that up as well. These beds are all filled with flowers and dahlias. So we have some dahlias here, and there are some sunflowers on the side, and here are some more dahlias in this bed as well, with some volunteer cosmos. This row was also dahlias. I always like having a border of dahlias here because it kind of blocks the view of my garden mess, but it also makes people quite impressed that there's so many nice flowers. And there's a lot of volunteer poppies that I tend to keep in the garden because I actually really like poppies until they get like scraggly like this, and then I don't really like them anymore. But see, this is a really nice volunteer poppy, and some volunteer nigella. I planted this nigella last year and it's self-seeded, and I believe this is Delft blue, but it's very blue this year. Usually it's a bit more streaky, but this looks very like purple blue, which is really nice. I really like that. It kind of goes well with the purple poppy next to it. And this last bed is brassica. So I have kaleets. Half of it is kaleets and the other half is cabbage. I put it under netting to save it from the pigeons, and it's doing pretty well. I think it really likes this place because it's not too sunny, so it won't bolt. And they're doing not bad. Despite the netting, I see a cabbage white in there. That's so funny. You do everything you can to stop them from coming, but they always find a way. So I will let that cabbage white out and probably do a bit of weeding because I do see a few weeds. And that was the garden in mid-June. We are going on holiday again in a few weeks, so I'm going to try and fix as much as possible so we don't get put on the garden blacklist like we sometimes occasionally do. Basically you get a warning from the allotment association if it gets too messy, and it does look very messy. I agree that it looks quite messy right now, so we'll try and fix it as much as possible before we leave again for another summer holiday. But that was it. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.